compensation chart of the company, the key managers and the regional directors, the managing directors. This is more important. There's a picture. Now, it took us 2 years to get Marco's picture. And at first when I asked him and he said, no, I don't want my picture on the website, I don't want my picture in presentations, I started thinking, maybe that's why he's been in Asia for 20 years, because he's wanted back home. But we finally got his picture, so Marco's up there. But this is our senior leadership team. And we meet 3 times a year face-to-face, because as I mentioned before, we believe this is a personal business. And you've got to keep those relationships, and you've got to work on those relationships. So we meet in different parts of the world 3 times a year, as well as have monthly conference calls to kind of keep ourselves accountable for the initiatives and the promises we made to each other. I think the one thing I should note up there is that Paul Fitzpatrick, who's our corporate legal counsel, is going to be retiring. So you won't see his picture up here next year. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going through these different slides, because again, I'll be glad to pass it out, but you'll also be meeting with the different managing directors and their teams that are here, and they can talk a lot more about their regions better than I can. But what I'd like to do is have Clint, would you mind standing? Clint is our managing director for the Americas, and as I was told many people last night when they were talking about needing more business from the United States, I said, all I can do is ask for more business, but you got to talk to Clint to get more business. So now you know who he is, and you can ask him how he's going to help develop your areas of responsibility. Latin America. Alfredo, would you like to stand, please? So Alfredo is here to represent Latin America. He's a team of 1. So it's going to be hard for him, but I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job. Juan Alonso, who is the managing director for Latin America, is actually with his wife in Paris on a vacation that they had planned long ago, but we'll be here later in the week. So thank you. Marco. No introduction, right? Everybody knows Marco. So Marco has done just a fantastic job. When we first started talking to Marco, I guess it was 5+ years ago, and we originally were talking to him about being the director of sales for all of Asia. And after a number of meetings, we realized this guy can not only sell, he can also lead and manage the team, and so we decided to make him the managing director of all of Asia, and he's done an absolutely fantastic job. So thank you, Marco. Oh. Europe. Andy Martin, can you stand? So Andy has been with the company longer than any of us. He's been through a number of acquisitions, but he's continued to be a dedicated leader of our European group, primarily in the UK, and has been a real asset to the organization. And I'm sure a lot of you enjoy talking to Andy and his team as well. Okay, trade wars. I don't know where to begin. I've got so many sarcastic emails and texts from Marco over this whole thing. And this, if you were to see the bottom of this, you would see this is my 7th. I revised this 7 different times. And all the revisions had to do with the trade war because it was changing a couple times a week. So I have a few slides in here that we can pass out to everybody when we send it. It's changing all the time. We all have, I think, our personal views, which I'm going to stay away from. But one thing that We do think it is an organization, it is concerning. It's concerning in the fact that we've taken some of our very close allies and it basically, I think in a sense, really shows them disrespect, which I'm not happy about, and I think a lot of other Americans are not happy about. And we'll just have to see how this plays out. But one of the things that we do is that we send out on a regular basis what we call our updates. They're an alert, a supply chain alert on what's happening around the world with whether it's the trade wars, whether it's a strike in Brazil, whether it's a change in government in Italy, that we think has an influence on our business. And what I'd like to just suggest is if anybody's interested in being on that, those announcements, those alerts, please drop your business card over here, and we'll be glad to add you to that list. I was thinking about this the other day, that we probably can't just take the list of all your emails and send them to you because there's new regulations in the EU. So we just can't take emails, and people have got to opt in versus opt out. So I think it's just better if we were to get everybody's business card, and we'll be glad to add you. And I think you'll find them to be very professional and very enlightening. So with that, I look forward to seeing everybody during the next couple days, during the meetings and the evenings, and thank you again for coming. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Freda. You didn't leave a piece of paper.
Leave what you have a meeting. But after this meeting, my next meeting is at 3 We'll meet up at 3:20.
3:20?
How is it going? Yeah, fine.
Because we have missed you. We wanted to cover everything this.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so did we.
I don't know, it was just the first time here last week was quiet, and then you picked it up really well, and kind of smoothed on.
Awesome. I know I have your same.
We meet again.
We meet again.
So, yeah,
I have your number.
Yes, sir.
I have your number. Very interesting market. There you can go.
95,000 square feet, something like this for
See, I want to write agent Tanaka. Agent, I want to write Tanaka. See, when I remember, when I see you, I remember this.
Trade agreement.
Vet precis varför har det känts?
So to the US, July 1st, everything else June 2nd. You gotta get on the list. You have to know what to do. So, I know in the US, we just have. So we can do it by 5. You just have skills.
Get